they announce all constituencies. Once they've announced all the constituencies, we will see who has passed the threshold, who is the winner. Then that winner goes to Bomas to receive the winner's certificate. But in this particular instance, that process as we know it was not being used. So it only meant that this man was going to sing for us a Piki, Ponky between the two of them.
It's like he's gonna trick you.
Yes, and then where it lands. And you know, he was very careful. He only called two. He didn't call Gachagua or Maura. He only called Baba and Ruto to play Piki, Ponky on the two of them. And wherever it lands, you are president. And that's what happened in Aturaba.
But people are asking, with your expertise, mbona uka let that go? Like, how did you let all that process go until Baba was not the president?
You know, for me, I'd seen danger from way before. You know, I was also a candidate in the elections with Jimmy Wanjigi. And the way Chebukati handled our nomination, he went just trying to find every excuse to stop us from being on the ballot. I could tell this was danger. And we made enough noise about it. But the rest of the country, maybe majority Kenyans were consumed. They thought that there was something going on here that would lead to a fair elections. We made a noise about the...
What's up, people? It's your girl Benny, and welcome back to the Benny Experience. So guys, like I always tell you, mkiwa huku amwezi boeka. So leo tumepatana na the one and only lawyer Phyllis Otieno. Karibu sana.
Asante sana for coming. Nimefurahi kuwa na nyinyi.
Tumefurahi pia kukuona.
Asante sana.
Tumekujua kutoka Piki Ponky.
Paka mielo disco.
We'll do that line again.
Piki Ponky. Paka mielo disco.
Wow.
One. Where it lands, there you have your president.
How did you come up with that slogan or tune?
This was a childhood game when you were young in nursery school. The English used to say it as inky, pointy, father had a donkey. But the corrupted version that we grew up with was Piki Ponky, Paka mielo disco. So where the disco lands, that is where. Yes.
But how did it come to politics? How did you fix it?
Because for me, just watching the events at Bomas, I'm an elections expert. All I've done in my life is elections across the continent. And I've even done elections where people vote using pebbles. You know Bano?
Yes.
Yeah, people vote, you're given Bano to vote. That is in Gambia. So we know how elections are done.
Yeah.
And we know how the process leading to declaration of a winner is done.
Yes.
It has been done before.
Yes.
So this particular one, where Chebukati calls Baba and calls Ruto and tells them come to Bomas at 4. And the announcement of constituencies has stopped. The choir is singing and dancing. Everything else is quiet. And he's telling these two to come. So which formula was he going to use to tell us who the winner is? Because normally, we know the winner even before the winner arrives at Bomas. Because they announce all constituencies. Once they've announced all the constituencies, we will see who has passed the threshold, who is the winner. Then that winner goes to Bomas to receive the winner's certificate. But in this particular instance, that process as we know it was not being used. So it only meant that this man was going to sing for us a Piki Ponky between the two of them.
It's like he's gonna trick you.
Yes, and then where it lands. And you know, he was very careful. He only called two. He didn't call Gachagua or Maura. He only called Baba and Ruto to play Piki Ponky on the two of them. And wherever it lands, you are president. And that's what happened in Aturaba.
But people are asking, with your expertise, mbona uka let that go? Like, how did you let all that process go until Baba was not the president?
You know, for me, I'd seen danger from way before. You know, I was also a candidate in the elections with Jimmy Wanjigi. And the way Chebukati handled our nomination, he went just trying to find every excuse to stop us from being on the ballot. I could tell this was danger. And we made enough noise about it. But the rest of the country, maybe majority Kenyans were consumed. They thought that there was something going on here that would lead to a fair elections. We made a noise about the voter register. But look here, you have more than 500,000 duplicates, people who should not be in the register, who are in the register. You are doing nothing about it. The register has not been cleaned. But people are not paying attention. But we are where we are. It happened as it did. Now you can all see the consequences when you have a flawed election process. In a mess, kila mtu bali yuko. Because electing a leader is about governance. Unachagua mwenye atakuongoza. Na ni sera gani amesimama nayo. Kama mmechagua kiongozi kwa njia yenye sio halali, basi shida pia hata hiyo uongozi itakuwa si halali, na shida zitakuwa mingi kwa wananchi. Watu wako kwa fursa kuchagua kiongozi yenye wanataka kwa njia ambayo inaeleweka kikatiba na kisheria.
Oh, we still seeing that you're on the other side, let's say the opposition side of the government, and Wanjigi is your good friend.
Yes.
And you know, all maybe people could ask, where did your friendship start? Was it political or is it business?
Our friendship with Wanjigi started in a very interesting way, in a quasi-political environment. I met Wanjigi in 2017 when he was with Baba, and he was looking for a campaign manager for Baba. That time I was doing an assignment in Mozambique for the president of Mozambique. So a mutual friend introduced us together. And in the first 10 minutes, Wanjigi was like, "You are the man I've been looking for in this country for the last 1 year. You understand elections, start to end, end to end, and that kind of thinking." That time I was doing an interesting case in Kenya that anybody who claims to be an elections lawyer must know it. It's called the minor K case. That case is cited in all election disputes in this country. And even the last Supreme Court you witnessed, everybody was mentioning in the minor K case. I was doing that case that time. And I was telling Wanjigi about it. Like, that kind of thinking is what we need in elections. And we've come a long way. We walked Baba through the 2017 elections together. Me as campaign manager, Wanjigi as his main partner, up to the Supreme Court process, up to the swearing in of Baba as the people's president. And after his swearing in, he went to State House, which was Wanjigi's residence. That's where he spent the night after he was sworn in. And he stayed there for almost a week before he started now moving around the country in preparation. But before we could do all that we had planned, handshake happened. And that is where we said our candidate has finished that part of the campaign. Yes.
So what happens? You know, people would really say, you guys who are around Baba or lawyers, you probably are the reason why Baba is not sitting on the seat. Is that true?
No. You see, in 2022, for avoidance of doubt, I was not in Azimio. I was in Safina with Wanjigi. So the lawyers who are with Baba can answer that question for what they did. I cannot speak for them because I was not there. Me, I was fighting for myself to be on the ticket, to be on a ticket to be deputy president. And I always tell Kenya, I mean, even if you ask your viewers, now take His Excellency Gachagua and take Willis Otieno Piki Ponky. Tufanye kura ya maoni. Ask Kenyans, between these two, who deserves to be a deputy president? Surely. Is that a choice? Si tamshinda asubuhi na mapema.
So you're saying you can be a better deputy president?
No, let the people decide. And I believe, given that choice, they've seen His Excellency Gachagua, they've seen me. They've heard both of us talk. So you just ask people, choose between these two. Who do you think, even if you're at your home, who can you live with your children? If you're going to work at it, who can you live with your children as a symbol to take care of your home, and you expect to find your children playing and happy? But who will you come back and find the children scared and crying, mourning, wailing loudly? I mean, the choices are clear.
Let the people decide.
Let the people decide. And I believe when that time comes, the people will be asked to choose between Willis and Gachagua as who should be the deputy. The voice of the people, which is the voice of God, will overwhelmingly say that Willis is the one who deserves to be a deputy president. And in similar fashion, if you put Jimmy and His Excellency William Ruto to choose who should be your president, I mean, in terms of understanding this economy, articulating the problems of our nation today, One person knows how to promise things very well. Deliver is a different story. One person knows how to articulate the problem of our economy being the debt burden and coming up with tangible solutions to that debt burden that you are able to freeze government expenditure so that you come up with programs that cushion the people and grow more production in our economy. That should be the one that Kenyans need. What we are going through in this country is what we call the third and final liberation, the economic liberation of our people. And there's warriors who will see it through. I believe is Jimmy Willie. Baba was the warrior of the second liberation. And that fight that Baba fought hard and with long years of pain and tears, in my view, culminated in the passing of the 2010 Constitution, which codified and consolidated the political rights that Baba was fighting for. No, when Baba started fighting for these things, Kenya was a one-party state. Even speaking to you would have been a problem. By now, there will be special officers here arresting the two of us just for talking. But Baba has fought, he fought so hard, and he made sure that we moved away from that repressive regime, and he codified that fight in the Constitution of Kenya 2010. He is the hero of the second liberation, in my view, and he bears the scars of that fight to date. They are on his face. You can see the pain in the watering of his eyes. Those are not just because of old age, it's purely because of the torture that he went through. And now we are launching the third and final liberation, the economic liberation. Our people are hungry. Our people are dying. The cost of living is unbearable. But Kenya Kwanza administration, in my view, their response to the economic pains Kenyans are going through will not address this problem. When they came into power, the dollar was exchanging at 120 shillings to the dollar. Today it's almost at 150 shillings to the dollar. And we are becoming more an import focused economy. We are importing more than we are producing. So progressively, your dollar is going to keep losing value. And the cost of living is going to get worse. People are going to be in a state of despair. And I believe the trajectory they are going, if you are not careful, before you know it, the dollar will be exchanging at 200 Kenya shillings to the dollar.
So what is the solution? The
solution is to, if you have a problem, if you have a medical problem, you don't go looking for a mechanic. You go looking for a doctor. If you have a problem with your vehicle, you don't go looking for a doctor. You go and looking for a mechanic. You have a problem with the economy. Look for someone who understands the economy. That someone is someone who has done business, who understands the flow of money. It's Jimmy.
Are you saying that 2027 we seeing him in the ballot?
Mtatambua. 2027 we will be on that ballot. Strong like never before.
And Baba?
Even Baba has a right to vie. Yes, I believe Baba should, if he wants to run, he has the space, he has the support of the country, he should vie. And he will sell his policies. Even us will be selling our policies. Ruto will be selling his policies. And where me I differ, like I thought you were going to ask me, why I was not in Baba's campaign the last election. What we said was very simple. If you look at Ruto's campaign and Baba's campaign, in my view, Ruto was promising tutapea mama mboga 10 billion, watu wa boda boda 50 billion. Distribution. Baba, I'll give everybody 6,000. Then they believe the problem of our country is about distribution. That this cake that we have, who doesn't know how to distribute it, will distribute it better. Us, on the other hand, we believe the problem is not about distribution. The problem is about production. You have a very small cake that is shrinking by the day. And it doesn't matter how you are cutting the cake and distributing it. You will not deliver. It will not achieve what you desire. Your solution should be on production. How do you come up with policies that spurs the productive sector of our economy? What are the value adds that you can do to the products that we have here so that we are able to earn more? How do you turn this country from being a net importer of goods to be a net exporter of goods so that we are earning more revenue? How do we access the African market for our products so that let the private sector grow Today, our middle class, those who earn, in my view,
yes,
and based on the Kipra report, those in Kenya who earn 100,000 Kenya shillings plus are only 80,000. Only 80,000 Kenyans earn 100,000 Kenya shillings plus.
Yeah.
We are 50 million, maybe probably of that 50 million, 23 million adult population. So only 80,000 earn 100,000 Kenya shillings. Now we need to move this number from 80,000 to 2 million. If only 80,000 have been earning that much, and you can see the country the way it is, what if we changed and we gave opportunities for more and more to get into this earning bracket? That you have 2 million Kenyans earning 80,000 shillings, 100,000 shillings plus. What will happen in this economy? That is what we're talking about. Providing opportunities for the Kenyan person to grow, right? So that you increase his earning capacity. You give him more opportunities to be able to actively participate in our economy. This country will grow naturally from a private sector driven approach as opposed to a government driven approach. In a nutshell, and this thing has been tested before. When Kibaki came into power, there was only one broadcasting station called KBC. Yeah. Right? The other NTV, KTN were limited to some very small kilometers from Nairobi. They were restricted. The media sector, the broadcasting sector was restricted. Government believed that it should control the flow of news. Right? Yeah. Then Kibaki decided to liberalize the airwaves. Right? What did it do? It made sure that even in terms of market reach and market access, a manufacturer who has a product that he wants to sell, he knows that now we have a captive population, for example, in Kisii, that they have a radio station that speaks to them in their language. He can advertise in that locality. So he's able to reach more of his customers and using this media platform that was now liberalized. So it grows. That to us is the difference. We ideologically differ with Azimio and Kenya Kwanza on the government approach. As we believe in less government, government moving away, just being a regulator, not that government being the solution to every problem by providing to Tatenga, to Tapeana. No. Then they believe the solution should be government just throw money at everything. Look at housing sector. They believe government should be building for us houses. How many houses will government build? But if the private sector was the one to be incentivized to build those houses, you will be seeing an exponential growth of housing units across the country. Our problem is not that we lack houses. Our problem today is that our people cannot afford. So why build a house that someone is going to stay there that he cannot even feed him? They will eat the walls. In the converse, create an enabling environment that the individual is earning more money. Then the private sector will respond to the market needs. Because when somebody is earning that much, he'll want that kind of housing that commiserates with his earnings. So you will automatically create a market need, and somebody else with capital will go and build the kind of house that the person will live in. These people go to the domestic market. Government is the #1 borrower in our market, loans. What is the end result of that? Government is borrowing now at 13%, 15%, almost 16%. You go to take a loan in bank, banks will tell you minimum interest rate 20%, 25% for some people. Move government away from that market. So government is now taking all the money available for loans. Where will you get money for capital? If your government is borrowing, because banks want to now lend to government, not to you. You go, they see you as a problem. You're like an ogre. They don't want you even. Move government away from the domestic borrowing. Then the banks will, because they have the money, the pension funds, the insurance companies, the circles, they have the money. They now come begging you to borrow money so that you are able to do another economic activity. If I want to put up a fish farm in Lake Victoria, today I can simply go there and ask them, I want 100 million loan facility. The banks will tell me, okay, 25% interest rate. I can't afford it because it means all my efforts will go towards repaying the loan. But if they were giving, if they had that 100 million shillings, the government is not borrowing from them, I go, I want 100 million loan. They tell me, will you take it? 5% interest rate. I love my fish farm running in Lake Victoria. So also with a coffee farmer. So also with someone who wants to invest in steel, making mabati. So that is the thinking. We are totally ideologically not in sync with these two people. as we are business oriented, how to create opportunities for our private sector to grow. That will be the choice on election day. And I believe the Kenyan people, watu si wajinga. Watu walirevuka. Wamerevuka. They've been lied to enough for 60 years. The usual politicians have been the ones running this show. And I always say, the 60 years has led us to where we are. If the last 60 years have been good to you, you know who to vote for. You vote for our competitors. Yeah, if it has been good, vote for them. We have no problem. But if you want something different, you can only vote for us. Because what is their best that the other right can do to you? The best, they'll give you the same that they've given you all these years. What is our best that we can give you? Our best, we can give you a new world, a new governance, a new economy. That is our best. Our worst, we can just give you what is their best. We'll be as bad as them. Yeah, that is in our worst. You will be as, in our worst, we'll be like them. So nothing will change. In our best, there's more potential. So if you want more to come, the choice is clear. Unless you want to kill the future of your children.
And someone will ask, you belong to the 80%. What have you been doing? You know, you're also in the private sector.
Yes.
Like, what is your examples? What have you done? You know, before you go to the people and tell them, I want this, probably you've tried something.
Let me give you an example. I'm a farmer. I'm a sugarcane farmer, and I'm a very serious farmer. I can tell you, the greatest challenge that we face on the farm is the cost of input, cost of fuel. When we were doing the last planting season, a liter of fuel was going for diesel for the farm, for the tractors. A liter was going at 75 Kenya shillings. Now a liter is going for, no, not 75, it was 130. Now a liter is going at almost 190. What are we talking about here? Now I have to transfer that cost to the farmer, the people whom I am supporting. The end result is this. More and more Kenyans who are using mechanized farming are dropping it. We are going back to bull plowing. Me with my transport business and my tractors, where I'm providing an avenue for people to work. The tractors are packed. They're not running. Why? Because there are no farmers who will be able to afford the cost of fuel, the cost of plowing their farms. So they're just lying there. Yeah. Now that is what I'm saying. I've been to the ground. I have seen the consequences of a bad economic policy. What it does to even an invention that is meant, an activity that is meant to empower people. You are now reducing people to go back to subsistence. People are now farming to eat, not to sell. The sugar farms are almost all of them are closed. We have mature cane on the farm that no one is buying. So I can continue lamenting, or I put myself at the forefront to provide a solution. That is what I'm doing. I'm not going to the book of Lamentations. I was taught in Bible school that the Bible has 66 books. You should never stick in the book of Lamentations. There's also the book of Songs of Solomon, Psalms of David. Can you read those nice songs of Psalms of David when David serenades his audience? Read them and tells you the glory of God, how God actualizes. So me, I've moved away from Lamentations. I will not blame government. I will not say Satikali's idea. I've thrown myself into the mix. I want to show the people of Kenya how it can be done different, through a different model. Let's stop reading Lamentations. Come to the book of Psalms, Psalms of David. Yes.
Have you sorted the rain that beat you outside?
Yeah.
How are you gonna fight with it in the forward?
That was just politics. That was just politics. So people who feared Jimmy Wanjigi are the ones who are stopping us from the ballot. We are ready. All the issues are sorted.
Strategy.
We are ready. I'm telling you, Kenyan people are looking for change. This is a liberation war we are going through. In the next election, my view, the question of that election will be the economy. There's somebody who used to be James, it's called James Carville. James Carville used to be Bill Clinton's campaign manager, chief strategist. And And in the 1991 elections, James Carville, 92 elections, James Carville said, "It is the economy, stupid. Don't tell us about the successful war in Iraq. So we've led our campaign in Iraq, we've defeated Iraq, the Gulf War. No. Tell us about the food, the quality of life the American people are living. It is the economy, stupid." That became the elections mantra. So also for us in Kenya. Don't tell us about all those many things they're talking about. Oh, the roads. We don't need roads. At the end of the day, the quality of life and the economic condition of our people. Is it improving? Is it getting any better or is it getting any worse? I believe it's getting worse. And Kenyans deserve better. And the better is Jimmy.
So you are behind his back 100%.
100%. The best is Jimmy with Willis as the deputy. And we've done an opinion poll, even run it online, just ask people, Willis and Gachagua, who should be the deputy president of Kenya. The people will
let the people say.
Let the people say. Let the people decide. If they want something good, they know where to get it. If they are okay with Gachagua and Kenya Kwanza, they know where to get it.
Okay. So we leave it at that. Maybe because of time, we move to just one question. Defamation. It's all over the internet. When someone, especially this cyber defamation, when someone talks through the internet and tells another person off, how are you lawyers maybe tackling this?
It's a rampant thing now, and more so now with this new media. How do you identify the person who people are using even pseudo accounts? So even tracking the people who are involved in these acts or defamatory acts. Because still it's a civil wrong. And for anybody involved in an act that is meant to injure the character and reputation of another, just know that if you are taken to court and you're found culpable, you will be condemned to pay damages for the wrong that you committed. The challenge that we face is that most Kenyans, when people are behind their keyboards, they can say anything without considering the repercussions of what they are saying, which ideally we need to start thinking through. By the time you're posting something about someone, you must be able to verify it. You don't just speak because you have an access to a gadget and you start talking ill of someone or spreading malicious falsehoods about someone. It can cost you. And the costs can be dire. You may be condemned to pay a lot of money, up to 6 million Kenya shillings. If you are not careful and you're able to pay, you can even be condemned and taken to what's called civil jail for up to 6 months imprisonment. You can even be auctioned and declared bankrupt. So there can be serious consequences to some of the casual things that we say online about the reputation of others. And that I urge Kenyans we need to be a bit be careful, be cautious when you're spreading something about information about someone. Lawyers, there's a group of lawyers who specialize in those kind of cases. And the jurisprudence emerging from the courts on defamation, I'm telling you, it ranges from between 500,000 to 6 million awards in damages.
Politicians are on the front line of probably not helping a girl child. Once you try to help, you're dating them. How does this work in your world?
I believe that everything should not end in dating. And when you empower someone or when you work with someone, it should not be that the end result of this engagement should be we end up being in a relationship. And it will be quite unfortunate if someone also take advantage of a vulnerable girl, because I believe in that power, in the power dynamics. If you have a senior politician working with a young girl, in the power dynamics, the senior operative is holding a more position of strength than the young girl. It is it's a predatory act if the two end up in a relationship, even if they are both adults, because the power dynamics favor the senior person than the young girl. So we need to be very careful. If you want to date within your social circle and your sphere of influence. So if you're a minister, date a fellow minister or a PS. Find a single one. Or don't start dating a young girl in the matrix of power, you are far more superior. And you may end up acquiring that consent by asserting what is called undue influence on the person. Yes, even if you're two adults. But we should never, life is not just about people dating or even about sex. We need to think about the quality of the human being. And not everything should always end up in people being in a relationship. So we can engage as humans, right? And we improve a lot of each other's lives and humanity, advance the cause of humanity without debasing everything to be about relationships. There's more to life than people being, we were never just made to be coupled. Yeah. So why that every time you see this one you want, this one you want, what will it end? To what end? Yeah, to what end? To what end? Yeah, you have this one today, another one. What is the end game? What is your solution? The end to me will be if you meet someone and you impact positively in their lives, and you, from that one person, as community grows, right? That you are remembered that the turning point in my life was when I met Willis. And what Willis took me through was able to impact in my life, improved my lot, and improved a lot of my community. That is what is legacy. That is what I believe in.
Does that mean you're settled, your wife?
Yeah, I'm happily married.
Why didn't you put it up there?
Because my wife prefers her privacy, and she's a doctor working on medical research. So she prefers to. But whenever she's required to appear with me in public, she comes, and she's fully engaged professionally, full time. Me, I'm doing my politics and my law, so I don't want to drag her from the medical field to be exposed to my politics. Yeah, but she's fully supportive of my political engagements. And whenever I'm required, I require her to attend to an engagement with me, she will attend. She will appear.
Oh, what is your biggest motivation?
My biggest motivation is to positively impact on people's lives. What I hope to see, what I live, is that if one day, maybe even 100 years after I'm dead, if somebody mentioned my name, Willis Otieno, the generation that will be alive that time will say, yes, he made a positive contribution to our life. That is what drives me. That the legacy that I will leave when I'm done will be a legacy of remembrance, for positive contribution towards humanity. You made a change to people's lives. That even if somebody was to appear and say, I'm Willis Otieno's son, that Willis Otieno, the one who turned our country, that is what motivates me. That is what I work towards. So whenever I go to court and I hear people saying, minor case, I shake my head. Say, that was me. And it means that I am on course. I am making positive contribution in the legal sphere, in developing jurisprudence for free and fair elections in this country. So that is what I believe in. That's what motivates me every day. What have I done today and has it contributed positively to someone's life? Yes.
Ever lied on the stand to get your way out?
I don't lie. I speak nothing but the truth. I don't lie. Even when you see me doing my cases, I make it simple. And I communicate in a way that not only the judge, but even the layman out there. So even when I was saying Piki, Ponky, I was talking to the layman. I had told the judges what they needed to hear. Now I wanted the layman to also understand. I don't lie.
One word for the Kenyans.
One word for Kenyans, eternal vigilance.
That is your motto 2027.
Eternal vigilance. Yes, eternal vigilance. Society becomes bad when good people refuse to participate. So we urge everybody to always be eternally vigilant and put whoever is in sphere of influence under control, checks and balances. You must hold your leaders to account every day. Every day. They exist there because of you. Without the people, there will be no leader. And they're exercising a donated power. We must be eternally vigilant. Otherwise, we'll turn into people's slaves.
My last question. It's Wanjigi against Willis. It's between Luos and Kikuyus. Are you going to meet these tribes? Because initially they're not met.
No, they can be met. In fact, look at Kenya. How did Kenya get independence? The independence communities were Luos and Kikuyus. Right? Then after that, there was a separation. Moi became president. Moi was a dictator. That one I can say, not defamatory. To get Kenya back, so the economy was collapsing during Moi's time. To get Kenya back, it took Mwai Kibaki and Raila Odinga. No, Kikuyu. Kibaki Tosha. The two communities worked, and what was the product of that? We got a 2010 constitution. The golden years of our country so far was the Kibaki generation. Right, that's the time when we even saw the country opening up. New infrastructure projects, we saw government opening up the airwaves, M-Pesa, innovation. It was about value addition. After that, 2018, some semblance of order again when Baba shook Uru's hands, even though it was not well structured as the others had been done before. So, this country, I can tell you, whenever Luos and Kikuyus are together, this country grows. That is when you get significant changes. Even when to get multi-party democracy in 1992, it was Jaramogi and Matiba and Baba again in detention fighting for it. Whenever Luos and Kikuyus are together, this country progresses. This country prospers. So as we believe, if these two are usually the protagonists that are dividing the country, let's bring them together. And we carry everybody. So there'll be no one group saying us we are with Kikuyus, us we are the Luos. The protagonists will come together. Come as one. The rest of the country will join us. We will have a harmonious country that is prosperous. We will not be the new Singapore. We will be the Kenya of Africa.
Okay.
What is Kenya? Because what is Kenya?
The whole Africa.
We will be the Kenya of Africa, not the Singapore of Africa. No. We don't want to be the Singapore. We will be the Kenya. Because I believe even if you look at our independence, the flag of our nation, you know the symbols on that flag?
Yes.
You have that shield. Do you know who gave that shield? There is the cockerel. There is the spear. Do you know what those are? Who gave them? Tomboy is one who suggested those things. Those are Luo symbols that they use when you're building a home.
I didn't know that.
Plus, a cockerel, a shield, and a spear to defend. Cockerel to symbolize now stability. Ask any Luo will tell you when somebody wants to build a home, what instruments you go out with. You go with a cock, you go with a shield, you go with a spear. That is how we built this nation called Kenya. The Luos and Kikuyus who had fought for independence solidified, came together, and we chased the Mzungu away. Now we are fighting for the third and final liberation. The first liberation was the independence fight, right? We were together. Second liberation, getting rid of Moi. We were together. Third and final liberation, how can we not be together?
Make the country beautiful.
Yes, we are going to win this war, and I believe we will win it. There is no day we've ever been defeated when Luos and Kikuyus are working together. We've never been defeated. As long as we identify what the struggle is about, we always win. We bring the industry of both ends and carry the energy of the whole country. The country succeeds, not just the two communities. The whole country. It's the whole country that succeeds, not just the two. Because you are reducing points of conflict. Right? And you're all working towards. So I've told you, independence, the two are together. Second liberation, the two are together. Now this is the third and final liberation. They must be together. That is what we represent. And we are going to deliver it.
Wow. Now talk to Wanjigi, we finally do this apart.
We?
Talk to Wanjigi on the camera.
Boss, we'll do this. That's all I'll tell you. We'll do this, and the people are with us. The people want a new formula. The people want politics that change their lives, not the usual politics that has led us to where we are. Yes, we stay strong.
Thank you. Guys, it's been one-on-one with the one and only Willie is the lawyer. Willie is the next vice president, as he told us, 2027. Stay tuned and make sure that let's support every Kenyan. Thank you.